He's one of India's best bowlers and he tends to shine when the opposition is particularly tough. But the amazing thing is he took to cricket comparatively late in his life. So what's the secret of his success? Well, that's one of just many questions that I shall put today to Venkatesh Prasad. Welcome to the program, Venkatesh.
Thank you.
Now, there's a certain confusion about your real birthday. So let me start by asking, when exactly were you born?
Yeah, I was born in 1970, and can you believe it? You know, it's on record. It's 1969. Well, because when I got an admission in the school, you know, I was a bit late, so they had to push my year of birth by 1 year.
But the amazing thing
I
is
think it's very common. I think many of them would have faced it, I guess.
Absolutely, but the amazing thing is that when people look at the record, they won't realize that you're actually 1 year younger than the records claim.
Exactly.
Now, you have 3 sisters and you're the only brother. Does this mean that you were very spoilt as a child?
Oh, not really. I mean, my parents were strict, and especially my father when it comes to the academics. You know, so he encouraged me when I needed it, and at the same time he was strict when.
What about the sisters? 2 of them were older than you. Did they bully the little brother?
Not really. They were very supporting me and very encouraging.
Now, as a young child, and particularly when you were in school, it wasn't cricket that you played. It was another game, wasn't it? Hockey.
Oh yeah, I played hockey for my school because we didn't have a cricket team, and cricket was an expensive game, and we didn't have that kind of a budget. So and when most of us took up hockey, and they were all cricketers who turned hockey players, just to play for the hockey.
Now, in fact, at that time you were really quite tall for your age. Your father, in fact, encouraged you to get into basketball, but it didn't work.
Yes, he did. He did push me to play basketball, seeing my height, and he even went on to say that it was difficult for me to achieve anything in cricket because cricket is very competitive and expensive, and things like that. But my first priority was always cricket. I loved this game, and I always loved to bowl fast.
But the strange thing is, when you first began playing cricket, it wasn't real cricket, it was tennis ball cricket.
Yeah, I played a lot of tennis ball to begin with, and that was my foundation basically. So I used to go to school, and I used to come back and throw my bags in my in the house and get into the ground to play tennis ball cricket.
So when at the age of 18, I think during your first year in college, you actually took to leather ball cricket, was it very difficult to make the transition from the tennis to the leather ball?
Not really. I mean, anyway, I was bowling fast in tennis ball as well, so it was not that difficult. But can you just believe it? By the time I took up leather ball cricket, Sachin had already played a couple of years of international cricket.
Quite right, yes, which is why I said you really came to cricket quite comparatively late.
Yeah, and I was a very quick learner, so I made it to the international side very soon.
In fact, you're absolutely right. Not only were you a quick learner, but you also achieved great success very quickly. In fact, I'm right in saying that in your second year in college, you were offered a job because you were such a great cricketer.
Oh, well, I mean, I was just beginning, so I don't think I never thought that I was a great cricketer. But anyway, there were a few banks, which was on a lookout for fast bowlers. So I had represented Bangalore University by that time. So when I had performed well as well, I had performed very well for Bangalore University, and I was the highest wicket taker. So I got in to one of the banks.
But when you accepted this job with one of the banks, it meant that sadly you weren't able to finish your degree. Were you sorry about that, or were you actually rather relieved?
No, I'm just hoping that I would complete, my graduation, sooner or later.
Now, of course, from that point, cricket really began to snowball for you. You made your Ranji debut in 1991, but it was your debut for South Zone the next year that was really special, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was special for me because, I never thought that I would get a wicket in the first ball itself when I made my debut for the South Zone. So I got a wicket, and I was a bit lucky as well. At the same, I mean, one has to be lucky if someone has to get a wicket in the first ball. But and then one went on to take 6 wickets, and that was a great achievement to begin with for me.
It was amazing because, in fact, in the next year after that, you got a 10-wicket haul against Kerala, and you got another 5 wickets against North Zone.
Mm-hmm.
That was 1993.
Yeah, that year was very good, and that made me go into the international side. Well, 10 wickets is 10 wickets, it's a great achievement.
But were you ever surprised that you'd only been playing cricket, what was it, for 4 or 5 years, and you were performing really at top level? Did you surprise yourself?
I was surprised. The way I was achieving and the way I was performing. Let me put it in this way. More than achieving, the way I was performing, and I was really happy with the way I was performing, and I just wanted to keep going the same way, perform more and more, and get into the national
Now, it was
side.
during this time in the early 90s that you began your association with the MRF Pace Academy and Dennis Lilly. How much of a role has Lilly had in helping you to develop your bowling?
Yes, Lilly, anyway, he himself is a great bowler, no doubt about it. At the same time, the academy has got a lot of facilities for the fast bowlers, and it's entirely for the pace bowlers. It's a pace academy. So they had gym, and they had
So was it the
swimming pool
facilities that were more helpful than actually Lilly himself?
No, I mean everything put together. Both the things were helpful, Lilly and the academy.
Now, cricket commentators love to come up with explanations, and one of the things that they've always said is that Lilly helped make you what they love to call a thinking man's bowler. Yes, you said it for me. Is it true?
No, I mean, well, by the time I realized, what I'm capable of, what my limitations were, and of course, with the help of Lilly, I came to know what I could do and what I should be doing exactly. So I thought to myself that I cannot be a tearaway bowler. So I just concentrated on bowling a good line and length, and
So a
swinging the ball.
thinking man's bowler is a bowler who thinks about his limitations and excels within them.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't be someone else. One has to be himself. If so, he has to perform within his limitations and within what he is capable of.
Okay, now in 1994 you made the first of your debuts for India when you played a one-day match in New Zealand, in Christchurch, I believe. But something rather sad and terrible happened on your way there, didn't it?
Yeah, it was. I landed in Auckland. By the time the first test, the only test, we were playing it was a one-off test match. So by the time the test match had already started. So when I landed in Auckland, I got my suitcase and I couldn't get my cricket kit back. Can you believe it?
Where had it gone?
I mean, it went to Los Angeles. Where the flight was.
So you mean no cricket shoes,
So
none of the equipment, nothing?
I was left with nothing. So I had to borrow my shoes from Srinath, who was of the same size, and
that must have been terrible. So when you went out to play for India the first time,
it was.
Were you very nervous as a result of this?
Not really, not really. By the time I played my first one-day match, I think the bags
The
came
clothes would
back.
all come
Yeah,
back.
they
Are
come
you
back.
superstitious about these things, having your own clothes, your own shoes?
Not really. I think I don't think anyone has got the same size as mine. What my shoe size? So
It's not a question of superstition so much as practicality.
exactly.
Now, even if there were problems with your first one-day debut, your test debut 2 years later in England in 1996 was in fact a dream. Absolutely everything seemed to go right for you, isn't that so?
Exactly. It was a dream debut for me and a dream series for me, where I got 15 wickets in the 3 test matches we played against England. And the first test match I got 4 into 6 wickets. And the second was really a dream come true, where we played at Lord's, and it is a terrific atmosphere to play at Lord's, and any cricketer I think would dream of playing at Lord's. And it was a fantastic ground, and where I got 5 wickets.
There's a lovely story about that second test at Lord's. Apparently you and Rahul Dravid were having a conversation in the dressing room.
Yeah, we did have a conversation, seeing those 2 boards which was there in the touring party's dressing room, where if a batsman scores 100, they would have his name on that, and if a bowler gets a 5-wicket haul, they would have his name there. So I just told Rahul, if you get 100, you will be there, and if I get 5 wickets, so my name would be there in the other one. So I went on to get 5 wickets, and Rahul was a bit unlucky, where
Rahul missed it by 4 runs.
4 runs.
But when you actually got those 5 wickets, that must have been your first 5-wicket haul in international cricket, one days or test.
Yes.
Were you particularly happy and pleased?
Oh, I was very, very happy, and in fact, my wife was there during the time. So I mean, it was great. It was great. I just told her the whole thing, what had happened, and even she felt very happy.
And when you go back to Lords, do you make a point of going to that boat to make sure that your name is still
Yes, yes, no doubt.
there? Now, the next year, 97, which is the year after your Test debut, you ended up becoming the SEAT International Cricketer of the Year. Were you expecting it, or were you taken completely by surprise?
Well, I was taken by surprise, but later on during that year, I was expecting it, in the sense, like, I never expected this, first of all, that I would become the International Cricketer of the Year. So I just went on bowling and performing, and towards the end of that period, I got to know that I was somewhere close to achieving this award. So and after I achieved it, I was very, very happy.
And
That's
did
great.
it actually make it special because the jury that gave you the award was some of the best cricketers of that time?
Oh yes, no doubt about it. The jury included Sunil Gavaskar, Chappell, Clive Lloyd, and
Alan Border.
and Alan Border. Exactly.
So that made it really a very special achievement.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a little break there. I want to come back in part two, Venkat, and talk to you about some of the amazing highs and lows that have followed this glorious moment of your career.
Sure.
We'll be back in just a couple of moments. Stay with us. Welcome back. My guest is Venkatesh Prasad. Now, altogether, you've taken 5 wickets or more 7 times in your career. Once each against England and the West Indies, twice against Pakistan, 3 times against South Africa. Out of this, is there a special one that you think is your best performance?
Yeah, the seven 5-wicket haul includes the one against Pakistan, during the World Cup. So I've taken 6 times in the Test matches, and we had a couple of chances to win a Test match. Actually, one was against West Indies when I took a 5-wicket haul against them at Barbados. So we had we had to score 120 runs, and we had the whole day with 10 wickets in hand, and we lost that game. And I was really upset about it.
It always helps if the 5-wicket haul actually leads to victory as well.
Exactly, very true. And the other one was against the Pakistan, where we played against them at Chennai.
Just last year, January.
January, where I took the first wicket for 33 runs, and then later on I went on to get 5 wickets for no runs. And again there we could have won the game, but we just missed out.
In fact, that's amazing. Your first wicket against the Pakistanis in Chennai cost you 33. The other 5 you got without giving a single run. What happened in between to transform you?
Yeah, I mean, I have to tell you something, that just before that series, we had toured New Zealand, and I bowled really well in that series, but I couldn't get any wickets. There were a lot of catches dropped and things like that. But anyway, it's part of the game. And I wanted to come back, and I was looking forward for this Test match against Pakistan, and I wanted to be among wickets, and I wanted to perform. But I don't know, I just after my first spell where I got just a wicket, I went back to the dressing room, and I was really upset. I sat down alone, and I just thought what I was doing exactly, whether I was doing something wrong, or whether it was just that I was unlucky or something. So then, I came back to bowl my second spell, and everything happened. It was tremendous.
Whatever it was you did in the dressing room, it worked.
It worked. It worked, really.
Now, in fact, just a few months later in Manchester during the World Cup, you took another 5-wicket haul against Pakistan. When you're playing against Pakistan, does something special come out?
Yeah, it's always special playing against Pakistan. With a whole nation would be looking for a win. It's not just the players, and performing against Pakistan is something terrific. Where every individual would be satisfied, and yeah, finally I got 5 wickets, and again it was a World Cup. So
And you became man of the match as well
man
this
of the
time.
match as well, yeah.
Now, the public and the cricket fans always see you and Srinath as a pair on the field. What they don't know is that the two of you are actually quite good friends off the field as well.
Yes, we are, of course, very good. I don't know why they don't know that we are not good friends. Well, we are very good friends off the field as well, because I know him from a long time, for say about almost 10, 11 years, and we have been playing together. And again, even he hails from Mysore, which is very
I
close to
suppose the
Bangalore.
reason people can't understand it is because they think of pace bowlers as rivals, and they can't understand how two pace bowlers can be such good friends.
As I said earlier, I know him very well, and we played together for a long time, and there's no
You
rivalry
even
at all
seek each other's advice and support
very
many times.
much. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a tight game, and if I have got any doubts on something, or whether if I don't know exactly what the ball is doing, or what I should be bowling on a certain wicket or something, or to a particular batsman, I would really ask him because he's more experienced.
Now, alongside your incredible successes, there have been a couple of moments of controversy as well, and perhaps the one that everyone remembers happened last year in December in Australia with Michael Slater. You got fined, and the match referee also, in fact, gave you a 4-month suspended ban. But later on, Michael Slater said he hadn't even noticed anything. So do you think the referee made a mistake?
Oh, well, I feel it was a mistake because I never did anything exactly. I mean, I was so thrilled and I was so happy that I got a wicket because we really needed a wicket very badly. And at the time, I got a wicket, and you know, so I was very thrilled, and I just showed some kind of an emotion, but there was nothing bad, gesture or something like that. And finally I got to know that I was fined, and I went to Michael Slater himself, and he was very cool about it, and he said there's no problems, absolutely.
So in fact, he hadn't seen your reaction as something ugly or nasty or dirty at all?
I don't think so, but even I didn't do it deliberately or something. It just came out as it's part of the moment.
Do you think many times when match referees accuse bowlers and batsmen of bad behavior, they're actually misunderstanding the way bowlers simply show their tension or batsmen show their excitement in a tight game?
Yeah, I mean, see, one has to control it as long as everyone knows their limitations, or to the extent where they can do it. I think the best people who can control this sort of emotions are the umpires. They can warn a player that you're going out of out of your.
So there should be a little bit more friendly advice rather than simply hitting them with fines.
Exactly, and I think they have to leave the player to himself to a certain extent, because so that they would excel. That will bring the best out of a player.
What happened between you and Amir Sohail in '96? That's another one of the incidents that everyone keeps talking about.
It was nothing. I mean, they were playing really well in that game, and they were hitting us all over the ground, and we needed a wicket, and I bowled a ball which Amir Sohail hit, cut. He played a cut shot, and he got a 4, and he pointed his bat towards that place, and in fact he showed his finger as well, pointing towards the boundary, saying that he's going to hit the next ball as well. So I changed my this thing, and I bowled round the stumps, and I got his wicket. I mean,
And then you
so
very
that's
famously pointed at the pavilion, didn't you?
but we were fine after the game. There was.
I mean, you shook hands on your friends again.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So when people say that Venkatesh Prasad sometimes in tough situations isn't able to check his emotions, are they perhaps misunderstanding the fact that emotions are very important to the game?
They are misunderstanding me because I would like to show my emotions, and I would like to. That's how I would give my best. I want to come out and do well, and I'm a very fierce competitor. I want to do well. I want to get his wicket. That's all I want.
And would the opposite happen if you control your emotions? Then maybe you won't play as well either. Is it a bit like John McEnroe in tennis, that the emotion brings out the best game?
Exactly. But well, anyway, I know my to what extent I could go. I don't think I would cross that line. So
now the other problem that you've had to contend with, and unfortunately it's happened quite often, is that you've been dropped, or what they sometimes call rested. The press sometimes thinks that in fact you've been picked upon, that this has happened unfairly. Do you agree with them?
I mean, it's difficult to say, but most of the times I am at the receiving end. So if something has to happen, it has to happen. It happens to me. Like recently, I did quite well. I feel at Sharjah, when we played against South Africa and Pakistan. And the next tournament was at Dhaka, and I was not picked. And in fact, I was training for that particular event at Dhaka, and suddenly, I got to know that I was not picked, and that's really very bad for a player. Because if the player is in and out of the team, he's going to he'll be having no confidence in himself, or he'll be losing his rhythm. And to get back and to do it again, to do his best would be difficult.
So were you very upset when you suddenly...
I was upset.
And when you get upset like that, I mean, is it easy to keep a control and to make sure that you keep your practice and your routine?
Very much, very much. I mean, yeah, I was upset, and then I thought, I sat to myself and I thought to myself that it's part of the game, it happens. So let me get back and work even more harder. So that's what I do.
That's the only answer.
That's
work
what I do.
even harder.
Yeah, that's what I do all the time.
Let's talk a little about your family. You got married 4 years ago. Where and how did you meet your wife Jayanti?
Oh, I went to see Anil Kumble, who was working in Titan, Titan Industries, where Jayanti works now. So I went there to see him, and that's where it all happened. I think Jayanti spoke to Anil to introduce me to her.
So Anil was the matchmaker.
Kind of. So then she started calling me wherever I was, and then that's how it all happened, and we got to know each other, and.
I love your description. She started calling me wherever I was. Did she fall in love with you?
I think so. Yeah, that's how it all started, and she's really she's very supportive of me and encouraging, and she's very humorous. She can easily turn a very tensed moment into a happy moment, and she's
so during all those
great.
difficult moments when things are going wrong, she's been with me.
She's been with me in all my ups and downs in my career so far.
Now you have a 3-year-old son, Prithvi, and I gather his name is particularly special for you.
Yeah, he is very special for both of us. Prithvi means earth, and he's everything for us. He's because Prithvi means earth and the universe, or you can put it in any way.
And he is the world for you.
World for us. Yeah.
And when Prithvi grows up, are you hoping that Prithvi will follow in his dad's footsteps?
It's difficult to say. I would leave it to himself. He can make any decision, but I can always show him the right way.
But would you like him to be a sportsman, or would you say he can choose and be whatever he wants?
I think so. I would like him to choose and be what he wants to.
Venkatesh, for a wonderful interview. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Karan. Thanks a lot.